Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up in our news tonight. A man is dead following a traffic accident here in the capital. Major concerns about the ease of doing business in the Bahamas are addressed. And a former opposition leader says the government is holding up the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort. That and more tonight.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good night, Bahamas. Welcome to our News Weekend Edition. I'm Georgia Bain. Topping news tonight. The country's third traffic fatality in 1 week was recorded last night. Officers of the Traffic Division responded to reports of a male being struck by a vehicle on the Tornik-Williams-Darling Highway in the area of the tennis court after 9 Friday night. Second officer in charge of the Traffic Division, Marina Hines, gave brief details on the scene.
8:20 p.m. Police at the Police Traffic Department responded to an accident believed to be on Tornik-Williams Highway involving a pedestrian and a motor vehicle. Upon arrival at the scene, the police discovered the body of a lifeless male believed to be in his 40s in the northern eastbound lane on Tornik-Williams-Darling Highway. EMS were called. Unfortunately, that male succumbed to his injuries at Tornik-Williams-Darling Highway. The vehicle in question was a 2013 Hyundai Sonata. The driver stopped after the accident and is assisting us with our investigations.
Persons believed to be family members of the victim stood near the roadside crying and shaking their heads in disbelief of what just happened. The victim's shoe could also be seen in the street several feet away from his body. Police say investigations into the cause of the accident are still ongoing.
The information is relatively new. We're still canvassing the area with attempts to finding out exactly what happened. So that information at this time is unknown.
Officers say they would like to continue to encourage drivers and pedestrians to exercise extreme caution and care when using our roadways.
We want to sound the clarion call that motorists are to be very alert. They need to be very cognizant of their surroundings. Obviously, we don't want motorists to travel with speed, and we want pedestrians.
Well, the ease of doing business in the Bahamas is of major concern to business professionals ahead of the WTO session. This according to the preliminary reports from an international firm hired to weigh in on the benefits of the Bahamas session. With more on this, here's Jillian Gray.
As the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce mulls over its position on WTO accession, they've hired global forecasting and quantitative analysis firm Oxford Economics to conduct a study on whether it is beneficial for the Bahamas to join the global trade body. Study findings highlighted several concerns from stakeholders, one being that many businesses question the benefit of WTO accession in an economic climate that has a high cost of doing business.
High cost of doing business in the Bahamas. Stakeholders also expressed their concern about the local economy, and it struggles to benefit from the WTO accession in the absence of an environment that allows them to compete effectively with foreign suppliers, inefficient, costly bureaucracy, as well as the high bank charges, insurance rate, legal fees, labor costs, electricity charges. Access to credit was also seen as an issue, especially for smaller companies.
BCCEC Director Darren Pickstock noted that the World Bank Ease of Doing Business ranked the Bahamas 180 out of 190 countries when it comes to the ease of doing business. Pickstock said changing policy will have a significant impact on creating a more favorable business climate.
Policy reforms can provide the incentives required for companies, for micro enterprises, to to multinational corporations to invest and to create jobs. The Oxford Economics discussion with government agencies in the Bahamas revealed that policymakers are definitely aware of the need to reform laws and policy independent of the World Trade Organization accession readiness.
Oxford Economics preliminary report reviewed the current negotiating position of the Bahamas, as well as the requests from WTO members. The team is also examining the policy trade-offs that may be required for accession. Pickstock noted that it is imperative that the private sector is involved in the process. He added that the Oxford Economics consultants found that some businesses had already begun their own analysis, while others were not sure on what acceding to the WTO would mean.
In cases, they have conducted their own WTO accession studies and submitted their recommendation to government. On the other hand, the interviewees also revealed some misconceptions about the WTO accession and what it means, what WTO actually means, which gave the consultants an opportunity to clarify these issues and dispel any misinformation.
Now, the full report will not be complete until April, and that's when the BCCEC will give its position on if it is beneficial for the Bahamas to become a part of the WTO. Reporting for Our News Weekend, I'm Jillian Gray.
Former opposition leader Loretta Butler Turner is weighing in on the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort, calling it sad and depressing. According to former opposition leader Loretta Butler Turner, the only good news she is interested in hearing about the purchase of the Grand Lucayan Resort is that it has been sold and that the workers have received their full packages. She said until then the entire situation seems grim. When the submission period ended for proposals to purchase the Grand Lucayan Resort, there were in excess of 60 bids on the table, according to Chair of Lucayan Renewal Holdings, Michael Scott. Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagolo told the media that the government has no intention to remain the owners of the resort and are in the negotiation process. Despite many considering that to be good news, Butler Turner said she will only be satisfied when the workers receive what is owed to them.
I don't care how many buyers the government has on the table right now for the Grand Lucayan. When they bought it, they said they would operate it until they found a buyer. Right now, you have people that cannot even get their separation packages, and as far as I know, there is no operation of the hotel as we know it. And so essentially, the government seems to be either not telling the Bahamian people everything that they know.
Butler Turner said she finds it sad that the government was so quick to pay Hutchinson Whampoa for the hotel, but can't seem to pay the managers. She added that at the end of the day, promises were made by the government, and now the government is holding up the process.
They're certainly not employing people in Grand Bahama where people are hurting, and those people that are being separated, they have not even received their compensation. This is sad for a government that says they are empathetic to the needs of the Bahamian people. If those people had at least received their severance package, they'd probably be able to pay their mortgages, their children's school fees, and be able to live. Unfortunately, who is holding it up? The government.
Butler Turner said with all of the MPs for Grand Bahama being in the Free National Movement, they should be suffering with the members of their constituency until the government can provide a better way of life for them.
They were quick to pay Hutchinson Whampoa their money, but yet the Bahamian people are suffering. They have every seat in Grand Bahama, and every member of Parliament in Grand Bahama should be suffering with their people to see how their people are being handled.
Well, still to come on our News Weekend edition, the Minister of National Security disagrees with a recent IDB report. That and more after this break.